Hi. It's the most wonderful time of the year, not Christmas, Tucson Festival of Books. I will be taking you along with me all day today and tomorrow to go to the festival to see authors. Right now I'm running late, so I'm going to make this quick, to see Kingfisher and Amal El-Mohtar. And then I don't know what I'm up to today, but I will take you along with me and it will be great. And you guys can see authors and it's going to be fun. And actually I'm going to meet an online friend for the first time that I've known for like 10 years. So that'll be fun. I'm going to change into my festival volunteer t-shirt, but right now I'm repping Pet Cemetery just cause. Also, I just wanted to say, let's go.
Infused with romance. Some people might say romance infused with fantasy. That's like some semantics we don't need to get into. And you were both writing books infused with romance before the buzzword came about. Did you feel in your hearts that you helped create that zeitgeist, or that you just arrived at the right moment with the right books to be part of this little niche that's happening?
Honestly, I felt like I arrived about 5-10 years before the right moment, and just hung out until the right moment hit. Honestly, and some people get very romantic-y, I don't like the word, but frankly, anything that helps a reader find my book I am delighted. You call it whatever you want if it means that people are like, wait, that is the thing I want. So yeah, I wouldn't say I helped create the zeitgeist. There were lots of romances before that had fantasy, but although then there was the 80s and if you and the 90s, and if you said you wanted a romance, everybody said, "Have you read Mistborn?" And then we started to get an eye twitch. But no, that's not a slam on Mistborn. It's just not a romance.
I feel like there's always genres that need to come and go as readers need to learn how to find those types of things. So I think that romantasy, I definitely was lumped in with it. I did not intend to make my books romantasy. I just knew I wanted a strong romance inside all of my books because I love reading romance. I love, I'm not romantic in real life, which is actually really funny. My wife is sitting up here and she's just the most romantic person on the planet, and I'm not that way.
There's literally a reminder on my phone for when my anniversary is.
Literally, I think we need to do that, yeah.
My husband and I both routinely forget it, and then 2 days later we're like, oh wait.
Another year.
Yeah,
no, she's the kind that'll show up with a dozen red roses for no reason, and I'm just like,
what did I forget?
Yeah, literally what's the occasion? And she's like, I just wanted you to have some roses. I'm like, I will clean the bathroom for you. I feel like romantasy is a good place for my books to be, but it definitely wasn't anything that I planned. I was definitely aiming more towards cozy fantasy with intention at that point.
Your novels really do blend beloved tropes from both romance and fantasy, and you blend them into your books. Do you think blending these tropes really helps you balance the fantasy with the romance?
I just write a sentence, and then the sentence that seems to come after it, and then about 10,000 times after you do that, it's a book.
If anybody ever thinks that authors know what they're doing, hello. If anybody ever...
We can't even make the microphone work.
If anybody ever thinks that authors know what they're doing, they don't. No, I don't know either. I feel like I just we just kind of sit and start and try to write and then go from there and hope.
Do you have favorite tropes that you come back to? As I'd actually like to know as a reader and as an author.
I cannot get enough of the tormented knight. I will write. I have a whole series of paladin novels that is just me going, how can I make this poor schmuck feel angst? Thank you.
I love Hurt Comfort. I feel like
Oh, God, yeah.
like kicking their ass and then having their loved one just be like, oh my god, they're dying. I'm like, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna kill them even more in the next chapter. So my cozy books were a bit of a step away from that, but I still couldn't quite leave it behind. So if you've read To You at the Altar, and, well, not To You at the Altar so much, but if you read the first two, there's definitely a lump.
Mine's full of severed heads, and everyone's like, this is so cozy, but there are severed heads.
Uncomplicated love to If Murder Were Legal. There is a lot of it that is autobiographical in the sense that there's like a core incident on which the whole book sort of hinges that is just drawn from my childhood in Lebanon, basically. And it wasn't originally in the book, in that it, like this book has had a very strange genesis or gestation, I suppose. It was initially a short story that was intended for audio only, and then I wrote it for that. Things changed. We ended publishing things happened, and then I needed to make it longer. And in making it longer, I realized I had to give it more dimension and depth and stuff. And I remember where I was when I realized that I would need to bring this specific incident into it, and it would change and fix everything. And it was just like I was on a bend on a road in a forest, and just realized, oh, I need to actually tell this story from like my sister and my childhood. So yeah, I realized I've talked for like 2 minutes and I haven't told what the story is. So anyway, it's about like getting lost in the woods, basically. Except that, you know what? I'm gonna actually stop. I'm gonna backtrack and stop and just pass it to someone else because I'm gonna take too long doing this.
So they go to Russia and they acquire Nadja, and it really is an acquisition rather than an adoption. They're looking for a child that will make them look good to their community. They're not bringing her home with love. And she goes through her portal and winds up in a place where she finds another family that does take her in out of love and out of concern for what she needs. And showing the different ways that those adoptive relationships affect Nadja and who she grows up to be was very important to me. My family is large, it is not entirely blood connected, and that is something I really like to focus on, this idea that found family is as valid as family created by genetic accident.
I thought it was a good way to answer the question.
Yay!
Just realizing, oh yeah, I could actually talk about like the plot of the book. But yeah, so the two sisters in their grassroots have inherited this tradition of singing to the willow trees that filter the magic out of the river and stuff. And the main familial element there that I'm looking at is kind of like this thing where siblings of a certain age can like define themselves against each other. So you find like, you grow up together, you're experiencing largely the same family and stuff, but one of you likes green and the other one likes blue. One of you likes this and the other one likes that. And you kind of like start to just bifurcate in those interests. And the main bifurcation that Esther and Isabel find themselves having is that Esther is sort of yearning towards Arcadia and adventure and fairyland, and Isabel is much more interested in Thistleford and home and like keeping her family close and together. And the main complication happens when Esther, as the eldest, is being courted by two suitors. One of them is an odious man from Thistleford named Samuel Pollard, and the other one is an Arcadian from Arcadia named Bryn. And the question of like who she inclines towards is causing tension between her and her sister. But other than that, there are like ways in which singing is weird and interesting in the world of Thistleford because it's something Arcadians don't do. So only humans sing, and Arcadians can't, but they are deeply affected by singing. And I wanted that partly because so much of our sort of like folklore and mythology around the Fae or around like spirits of other worlds involves them being the ones that are like enchanting and leading you astray and will-o'-the-wisp and stuff like that. And I really like the idea that actually they're very susceptible to something that we do that is thoroughly enchanting to them, and that can be very dangerous to them and stuff as well. But yeah.
Target, they're doing it because they can recognize an injured gazelle. And they demand absolute certainty. Once they have taken you, if your confidence wavers, if you no longer believe you belong where you are, you can get booted back to the world where you started at any time. And that's part of why they mostly go for children. Because children are much better at being 100% sure of themselves in utterly stupid situations. Like my 9-year-old goddaughter, who was utterly sure that she was old and mature enough to handle Disney World by herself and thus ran away from us in the water experience. Her certainty was complete, as was mine. I was certain she's my goddaughter, she's gonna go find an alligator. So we're gonna have a funeral. She is not related to me, but epigenetically, she is so related to me. Like, we look at this kid and go, there was some lateral gene transfer during Amelia's pregnancy. She looks like me. She got mad when there was a snake in my bra and I wouldn't let her take it out. You know, like, very much target.
I mean, if you have a snake in your bra, why wouldn't you take it out?
Because it was comfortable. It was just a little Florida red ringneck, and it had finally settled down and gone to snaky sleep, and I didn't want to wake it up and have to deal with it slithering around in there for another hour.
Hey, if I saw that you had a snake in your bra, I too would feel a little sad if you didn't let me play with it.
She got to play with the snake later after it had become the snake in my purse.
Okay. That's totally fair. Okay.
I grew up as an immigrant. My parents, we came over from Ukraine when I was 4 years old, and my father, my late father, he was an opera singer. My late mother, she was a singer, a pianist, and a very, very successful conductor until she got pregnant with me, sorry. So when they started in New York, I mean, we had nothing. My dad drove a taxi, my mother cleaned houses, but they still performed for various Jewish community centers, and they were just the stars of all of these benefits. And so I grew up hearing them rehearse, and of course it was something being in a musical household, it was something that I wanted to be a part of. So there is a VHS tape somewhere out there of me singing Tomorrow from Annie at one of these benefits, because I finally weaseled my way in. But of course, so yeah, I wanted to kind of pursue that as well. But my parents really tried to kind of push me away from that. They got swindled by one modeling agency. They almost got conned by another talent agency, and they just kind of saw the underbelly of the industry and just said showbiz is a dark place, at least here in America. You know, be a lawyer or a doctor, because of course all immigrant parents want that for their kids. So, you know, I went to college for creative writing. So obviously they could not, you know, beat out the creative side of me. So this novel, of course, in some ways it's wish fulfillment. At the same time, it's be careful what you wish for. So, you know, I think subconsciously it was my way of saying, you know, I went down a better path for me, because here are all of these kind of darker places that it could have gone.
Nice. Yeah, okay, so similarities, because that's why I was just thinking about what you just said, wish fulfillment and then going down the darker paths. I think a lot of that's what I was doing as well in Death of the Author, because, so we have, it's not a spoiler, fine, it's like, it's in the back of the book. So we know that she writes this book that becomes massively successful. This science fiction book, she's not a science fiction writer, but she was just in a place. She was just in a place, and that was where the science fiction came up through that. And so she writes this book, and it becomes hugely successful, and a lot of things happen with it. For me, I have okay, and she's also there's so many aspects to it, because so this was the most personal, or this is honestly the most personal book that I've ever written. I mean, like, I take from myself with all of my novels, but this one was like, it's nakedly, it's aspects are very autobiographical, we'll just put it that way. So we have this character who writes this massively successful book. You know, there's I'm trying not to have spoilers. Okay, so first is the academic part. I have a PhD and I have 2 master's degrees, so I know academia very, very well, and I was a professor for 8 years. I was a tenured associate level professor at the University at Buffalo and also Chicago State. And so I know what it is to be a writer and a professor. And our main character, it's in the beginning. Okay, these aren't spoilers. They're already in the beginning. It's hard to talk about this book without spoiling it. It's really difficult. So there's something. So she gets fired. She gets fired from her. She's an adjunct professor, and I've been an adjunct professor before, and that's why I can speak to that experience very well. And a lot of my angst went into this book with adjuncting. So there's that. And so she was an adjunct professor, and she had this student who wrote. She's a creative writing. She teaches creative writing. She has a student who writes this 25-page story that was just garbage. It was just garbage, and she tells him so. Where she tells him, here it is. And so when she does that, she ends up getting fired because she was very harsh with them and all that, right? Mm-hmm. So you were asking what are the connections between myself and my story. And
yeah,
that was real.
Industries.
So that was real. And so, but the way she handled it was different. Yeah. And so that's where the wish fulfillment part. Yeah. Okay. And I was like, this is what I wish I did. So if you read the book, that's what I wish I did. So there's that part, and there's a lot of commentary on your work being developed being adapted into film. There's a lot of that. I won't give too much away in the book. And yeah, I was drawing off of my own experience. I've had work that has been in development. I've had a lot of my works have been in development for film, and wow, what an experience that is. And so some of it is writing about it was very cathartic.
Yeah, sure. I worked in book publishing in New York City for 2 of the 5 major houses for 10 years, and you're talking about, the publishing process and, the book going to the highest bidder and the auction and the early copies and the early praise and all the promotion you have to do, all like the author spin your wheel type things, like, it was all very, very true. I know that because I had worked in it, and you also worked in it, Margarita. Yes, you know what it is a bit. So Lilliam, curious to know about your connections to the fashion world.
Sure. Besides spending too much money that I shouldn't be spending. The thing is, I mentioned before that I did work in Vernon, California, and Vernon is an industrial city. It's a population of 200. It has a very corrupt history. There's a lot of factories there that are still polluting the area around there. So most of the area is like East Los Angeles, Boyle Heights, Maywood. People, thousands of families polluted, their land, their home polluted, and they're still trying to recover monies from like certain factories. So working in Vernon, I worked for a fashion designer. It is not the same fashion designer that is written here. All of it is fiction. But I did work for a brand that there was a slaughterhouse that was right across the street from that. That slaughterhouse is no longer around. They closed it down. But there was always a sense of death. Like there was a smell of death every time you walked outside. And whenever I would drive in, I knew that there were ghosts. There's very like this angry spirit, just kind of like bubbling underneath. And so I knew even back then, this was a long time ago, probably like almost 15 years ago when I was working there, that I knew that I would eventually write a story about it. Even though I didn't have any book deals, I was a baby, like a baby author, but I just knew that there was a story here that was right for writing, especially because for the Latino community, so many of us would come from wherever we were coming from. Particularly my parents from Puerto Rico, they would come to New York, let's say, and they would immediately go work in a factory. Because that was a pipeline of your cousin, someone knew somebody, you just worked. You could work here creating lampshades, you could work here as a seamstress, you could work here, in textile, and all these things, and you would always know that there was an element of horror in it, because there was always this idea that your job could very quickly be eliminated. And I knew that as I was working in Vernon for this particular brand, that they would always find, there was a lot of undocumented workers there, and there was always this underlying fear that they were going to be, just found out. It's like, you better work, And so there's horrors and then there's horrors. And I always knew that I really wanted to write about this one character whose ambition is to work in this space where you look and the clothes that you wear is an armor, it's a lie. And just kind of really dig into what does that mean to sell your soul to a corporation.
Hi, I don't know why I decided to start this clip right now when I'm in the middle of a sneezing jag. And Pippin is very concerned. I never normally sneeze, I just get sinus headaches and stuff, but I've been outside all day and it's been so cold and so windy. And this is my wind hair. Isn't it great? Oh, geez, I think I'm losing my voice. Anyway, I just wanted to wrap up the day. So despite it being the coldest by far Tucson Festival of Books I've ever been to, I had a good day. Saw a bunch of people I know, got to meet people I've never met before, that I've known for years online, and I bought one book. Just one. Bow down before me, peasants. That is my self-control. Just kidding, there wasn't really anything I wanted, so my self-control wasn't tested super hard. It might be tomorrow, though. I don't know. We'll see. But I wanted to show you all the books I got signed and go through my day. So I started off first with T. Kingfisher, and I got confused at first because for some reason I had conflated two panels in my head, and I thought T. Kingfisher and Amal El-Mohtar were going to be in the same panel. They're in different panels. And I got this signed, and let me show you the signature. She was so funny. She's so entertaining. If you ever get, she's got a sign. Pippin, this isn't time for you. It's not Pippin time. She's great. She's great. She's so funny. Not the kind of funny where like you're trying really hard. She's just like being herself and it's funny. I never ask questions in Q&As, and I asked a question. I asked her where she got the idea to write a book about a a man who turns into a sword and a sword who turns into a man that's a love interest. And she said it was because her husband was reading, I think, the Elric of Melnibone series, or she was reading it. I don't know. That like seminal series, which if you didn't know, I've only read the short story that like led up to the novels. I've never read the novels because I wasn't that impressed with the short story. So I was like, I don't know if I need any more of this. It was really popular in the 70s, I think, or was it this late 60s? I don't remember. It was really popular back in the day. And it's about this guy. It's dark fantasy. And he has a sentient talking sword. So she said that she was like just complaining about this sword, or her husband was complaining about this sword and being like, I wonder what this sword thinks of this angsty, annoying guy that he's got to be with all the time. And then she was like, I wish somebody would write a story about a sentient sword. And then she said, oh shit, I've got to do it. So that was pretty funny. Anyway, it was a really good panel. She bounced really well off of both the moderator and the other panelist, who was Rebecca Thorne. And I read the tea one, the first tea book. What's it called? I'll put it here. And I didn't like it that much, but she was really funny. So I might consider reading more books from her in the future, like if she starts a new series, because that was her first book, and first books can be weak. But I don't want to go back into that series because I feel like I've already emotionally abandoned it. Anyway, that was my first panel. Then we got in line. The line was forever. Everybody wanted to see T. Kingfisher. And then I was late to the next panel because of the signing. So I just stood, and I got there while Sean, you would have seen already, Seanan McGuire was telling a ridiculous story, as Seanan McGuire does. Although my favorite was later in the panel when she talked about the snake in her bra. So that's to be expected. I got her to sign my first Wayward Children book, which I realized today is a first edition. I didn't know that it was a first edition when I bought it. So that's pretty cool. And then I got The River Has Roots signed by Amal El-Mohtar. She was so nice. I mean, I was at the beginning of the line and it was a really long line. I don't know if she remained super nice and friendly all the way through the line. Maybe she did. But she signed my book, and I told her how much I loved her audiobook, and then she just started gushing about how her audiobook narrator, whose name is Jem Carmela, and how they found her. And I guess she specifically requested to the publisher, hey, can you guys get a British woman, so she's speaking in her natural accent, B, a British woman from the West Country, which is where the book takes place, and C, a British woman from the West Country who is Middle Eastern. So they found one. They were like, yeah, sure, we could do it. And then they did it. And she's like amazing. So anyway, that was fun that we like had that conversation because she got so genuinely excited to talk about her audiobook narrator. Anyway, I really liked her. Then I went to lunch with my mom. I didn't film my lunch. What a terrible vlogger I am. I forgot to film my lunch. And then I went to a panel that I was escorting. Oh, I forgot. I got my Twisted One signed by T. Kingfisher. And I told her how much the thing in here, lives in my head. And she said that it's still the scariest thing she's ever written. And I agree with her. Signed. Then I went to my last panel of the day, which was Margarita, Montimore, Nnedi, Okorafor, and an author I'd never heard of before called Lilliam Rivera. And she was nice. She was so nice. She was the only one that talked to me. I mean, sometimes they're just in their own head, so I don't necessarily care if they talk to me, but it's always surprising when one of them does. But she was super friendly. But Margarita Montimore was also really nice, and I got my Axe of Violet book signed. Guys, stop. She wrote, "For Ashley, magic is everywhere," and then signed it. So that's nice. I will say, guys, you have to talk me out of it. Or maybe if some of you have read the book, you can tell me. I loved hearing Nnedi Okorafor talk about her book. She said it's her most personal book yet, and I'm not going to talk about why. She said it's the book that most resembles her life. She basically put her entire family in the book, although the main character is not her. And it came from a very personal place. And I feel like that might mean the writing hits me different. And it is a premise I really like, a story about an author writing a book, and then you read the book and you read about the author writing the book. That does sound really interesting to me, but I just never considered actually reading it because I just haven't responded well to any of the 3 things that I've read from Nnedi Okorafor before. But she was cool and she was really smart and she was the most engaging panelist. So I don't know. I think that, well, I will confess, I did put a hold on Death of the Author's audiobook while I was sitting at the panel. So I don't know if I'll actually listen to it. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't tell you if I do and then I DNF it because that's embarrassing because I just know that I'm not going to like it. But I might like it. Okay, I'll try. And then I went real quick, did some quick shopping to see if they had any books that I wanted. And you would have seen the footage of that. I only bought 1 book today, which I mentioned earlier. That's A Gentleman's Gentleman by TJ Alexander. I'm going to try. I don't have any panels in the morning tomorrow. So I think what I'm going to do, they're signing in a bookstore tent. And I think I'm going to go and get this signed. I don't have time to go to a panel. Any of their panels, they all conflict with stuff that I'm doing, so I can't do that, but I can at least get this signed. I'm a little upset that I didn't flip through this copy when I bought it because it's got this going on, and you'd think well, actually, just unfold it. Well, just look what happens. Look what happens when I do that. You see that? It's not cut. They didn't cut it because it got folded, so I'm annoyed. I'm gonna have to unfold it when I read it and then fold it back up to put it away. But I'm very excited about this one. So I have it on hold from my library from the audiobook too. So if the audiobook comes in when it comes time to read this, I might hybrid read them. And that's the only book about it, but I did buy a t-shirt, so I shouldn't have done it. Not to mention my friend Deanna found a t-shirt at Stack's Book Club, which is an independent bookstore here in town that had a tent that was better, but it's fine. I like this t-shirt too. And it says, "It's not hoarding if it's books." To which my friend Jessie in our text thread, when I showed them the picture of the chat, said, "Collecting books and reading books are 2 different hobbies." And I said, yes, and I engage in both. I have varied interests. They're so diverse. Books in another way, and then more books. Anyway, my mom gave me some birthday money and she goes, "Don't spend this on books." Like, what do you think? Do you know me at all? Do you know me at all, Mom? This is supposed to be a fitted t-shirt because it's a ladies t-shirt, but I don't like fitted t-shirts, so I got a bigger size, hoping that it'll be a little baggy. I don't know. I'm probably going to go just put this on right now, to be honest, because I have to wash this t-shirt. I made it the whole day without getting it stinky. This is my volunteer t-shirt. This is, can you see? It's got bats on it this year. They're really cool. And it's really soft this year. Normally they use really crappy t-shirt makes, but this one's really good. But I'm going to see maybe if I can spot treat it because I don't want to have to wash it and dry it. But I stopped into drive-thru on my way home and right at the very last bite, drip. Come on. Tomorrow I was going to try to go to a panel with Erica T. Worth for her new book, The Haunting of Room 904, which I have an arc for that I have to read by Tuesday. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'll try. But it's been getting terrible reviews. So now I'm scared. But I don't think I'm going to go to that panel because I will just feel bad if I don't like the book. So my morning's pretty free. And then I have Alisa, Alering, and Chronister panel. And they are weird horror authors. And I might be in danger of buying. So Chronister's there to promote The Bog Wife. And Alisa Alering is there to promote Smother Moss, both of which are on my TBR, but I was going to library them because I wasn't sure if they would be my thing, so I might be in danger there. And then in the afternoon, I have Allie Hazelwood and Casey McQuiston that I'm escorting. So Allie Hazelwood's lines today, apparently, I didn't go near them. I was doing other things at the time, but my friend Lindsay was in line, and she said it was the longest line at the Tucson Festival of Books she's ever been in. And Allie was just signing and chatting like a champ. Like people would bring like 5 books or whatever. And then she would sign them all. And like that takes a really long time. And then she's talking to all of the people. So that takes a long time. I bet she's going to be exhausted by the end of this weekend. But anyway, I'm glad I don't have to mess around with lines because I have direct access to her and Casey. So I can just get them to sign their books before the madness. And I'm going to make sure to do that because I do not want to mess around with those lines. I do not. Although it is at the panel. It's the last panel of the day. It's at 4:00 on Sunday. So maybe it won't be attended that much and I can just, but whatever. It's fine. The cats are acting sad like I've never fed them before in their lives. Pippin! Come here! Say hi! They're just being sad. So I have to feed them. And then, yeah, I will see you tomorrow. Hi. It's morning time. I'm just trying to work up the energy to get off of the couch and get in the shower and start moving around because I don't have any obligations until noon, so technically I don't have to be on campus, but I would like to wander around and get snacks and browse, so I'm gonna try and get moving right now. Lily's gonna be mad though because we're cuddling and we just had an intense scritches session and she purred like a mad woman. I have to get up, but I just wanted to check in and say I'm very tired and I slept for 10 hours last night and I'm sore. I think I might do some yoga stretches before I go because my legs are so sore, but no blisters, so that's good. Oh, that reminds me though, in case I get a blister today, I need to bring band-aids. I forgot band-aids yesterday and I forgot sunscreen. I need to remember. But anyway, I'm gonna get moving. I'm gonna go. Bye. Sorry guys, I forgot to show you my quesadilla tacos before I ate them. So don't look at that. Say hi, Lindsay.
Hi. I can show you a picture.
Of your food?
Yeah.
Just text it to me and I'll put it in the video.
Okay.
What was your favorite thing so far?
Standing in line for Ellie Hazelwood. I'm just kidding. No, I really liked that panel. It was really funny. Penny Reed and Kimberly Fleming were also on the panel. And they were just really funny and talking about AO3 and K-drama, which I didn't know existed. Then they would probably hate
It's a
me for
whole
that.
thing.
It's a whole thing. Clearly, it's a whole thing. And it was just very funny. Also Transit Tea.
Yeah.
My favorite.
I got this. It's a strawberry matcha. Context, Allie Hazelwood's line was like 2.5 hours long.
And I did not get anywhere in that line. I took myself out of
hold
the
on,
line.
let me. I can't move the chair. The chairs don't move. The chairs don't move.
So yeah, the line for Allie was like 2 hours long, and I didn't stay because the volunteers thought it was just for like the last 2 books that she's published. She's like, no. So I'm gonna try again today. Wish me luck.
And I'm gonna escort her so I don't have to wait in line.
Lucky bitch.
My favorite thing so far is talking to Kingfisher. Which I talked about already in my thing last night when I wrapped it up.
Nice. Oh, you did a wrap up.
She's really funny.
Yeah. It's been a good time.
I've just been eating this morning, and I bought some stickers, which I'll show you. Hold on. Went to this really cute local shop called Turtle Soup. They do stickers and bookmarks and stuff. They sell to local places, but they have an Instagram, so you can go to their Instagram. But I have this sticker.
I like that one.
This sticker, which he gave me for free when I said, oh shit, I didn't see that. And he said, if you follow me on Instagram, you can have it.
Oh my god.
And then Lindsay got me this. So, yeah. And then I have a bookmark. Don't talk to me, my favorite character just died. And then it's got reasons that the favorite character died. So, that's really cute. Anyway, more later, bye. Everyone, this is Erin. Her husband has a 3D printer, and I requested something from her.
Hey.
Yesterday was the Ides of March, too, so that's important context.
Ta-da!
There's a bee by you.
This is, okay.
Just FYI.
This is the betrayed Caesar, and it's betrayed because you put pens in its back.
Yes, here, for demonstration purposes. I don't have a pen, but I do have chapstick, so we'll see if it works.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I have pens. I have pens. Hold on.
You look like they're...
Yes. Here you are.
Hold on,
Thank you so much.
I gotta put it there.
Listen, you gave James a project.
It's amazing. I'm gonna put it on my desk at work. Poor Caesar.
Yeah,
betrayed.
they were not that bad to carry.
I'm sitting on a couch in the volunteer section. I got VIP access. I'll show you. Look, we got cozy little couches. I'm sitting my butt down. They've got tea, hot tea, water, sodas, and snacks. And they gave me a button. Not that one, this one. 5+ volunteer years. I'm not quite at 10 yet. So, it's a nice view. I keep saying authors go by. I just saw Margarita Montimore walk by. Anyway, I'm gonna go pick up Alisa, Alering, and Chronister.
The craft of creating dread, but I think about what I like as a reader. And so I've always loved ghost stories. I like a shivering atmosphere, the sort of idea of that movement out of a corner of your eye, and you're like, what was that? Did I see it? Was it real? And like that sensation, if you can keep that continuous sensation going throughout the story, you've got me so hard. So I don't know if I did it, but that's what I hope for.
I totally agree about that, like uncertainty and that awareness of something being wrong, but you're maybe not able to identify exactly what it is. I think as soon as you know exactly what it is, you've kind of lost dread and you're in out and out horror, which I'm always a little bit less interested in as a reader, and I think as a writer. My favorite things to read are when everything seems fine and you sort of gradually notice things sprinkled in that feel wronger and wronger until you're extremely unmoored and uncomfortable. And that's what I always aspire to do as a writer too.
When I was a kid, a little girl disappeared in the city I lived in, and my dad thought he was psychic and thought he knew where she was. And so in the middle of the night, he took me and my two little sisters in the car and went dumpster diving for her body. And in the backseat of the car, I didn't know whether we wanted to find her or not. We didn't, but if I can generate that feeling that I have, I'm good.
I didn't know that I was a horror writer until after this book was published and readers told me it was. So I was just sort of writing about the woods. But lots of things scare me. Like, I don't read horror. I certainly don't watch horror movies. I can't. Like, those images just play in my head and keep me awake. So, you know, ghost story is really like the top level for me. And I think I could write about anything scary because that's outside me. It's like happening to my characters and it's not happening to me. The things that I wouldn't be able to write about, I think, are things that are upsetting. Like, giveaway here, I'm never going to kill the dog. You know? So to me, that's more horrific than some sort of like, you know, brutal murder or natural disaster or whatever.
I think I feel similarly in that I can write more than I can read or watch necessarily because I'm in control of it, so it feels less scary. And I think I am afraid of like everything, and I think that's why I write horror, because I can be in a perfectly fine situation and like think I'm gonna die for a bunch of different reasons. So I think it like almost goes the opposite way. Like I can be afraid of everything, and so then I can write about it.
I'm pretty squeamish too, and so I don't watch a lot of horror movies or read a lot of horror novels, but until I had a kid, I wasn't really scared of anything, and then I suddenly became scared of everything. So I was gonna say I would never kill a child in one of my books, but I think I've killed a child in about half of them, so I won't write.
Which is why we do this, and so we were able to fix it before it goes out to air. There's a lot of moving pieces to make that show happen. So that's the kind of thing that we do in here. We also do something called live shots. So you may see, we've had, leading up to this last election, we had Senator Mark Kelly in quite a few times. What happens is we'll get a call from some other station, maybe Fox out of New York. They'll call and say, hey, we've got a show coming up and our host wants to interview Mark Kelly. Can we send him to your studio for a 7 a.m. hit time? And so Senator Kelly would come sit here. He's wearing what's called an IFB. It's a little earpiece, and so he can hear what the host of the show is saying. We'll mic him up. We've got this little robotic camera, and we can put whatever background we want behind him. It's usually dictated by the show itself. I'll show you how that works in just a minute. But a couple of things happen in this space. If you look up at the ceiling, you'll see these little white dots stuck on everything. Those are reflective to infrared light. And on top of each of these cameras is this little box. It's got some infrared LEDs in it and a camera that can see those dots. So what happens is that raw information is sent to a computer that each one of the cameras is connected to, and it will render. Who's familiar with Unreal Engine? So that's, Fortnite, Minecraft, all of that is built on that. So we've got these big, huge computers upstairs running Unreal Engine that generate these virtual sets. Now, what makes a virtual set different from a regular green screen, like a guy standing in front of a green wall and he's doing the weather map and stuff, is that with a virtual set, we can move the cameras. You'll notice when you see a weather guy standing in front of a map, they can't move those cameras. And it's because if they did, the weather map would move with them. Okay?
Anyone have any questions about how the news side of things work?
Into bananas territory. It seems like a precarious balance.
Well, I'm in the middle, so I don't have to go first.
So true.
I'll go. I think it's a tough balance because the thing about rom-com is if you've ever seen a rom-com, people don't act like people do in real life. And so you do have a little bit of license to get away with some like chicanery, just some foolishness. And I just really, you have to let them do the rom-com things sometimes because that's what makes it a rom-com. But you can only, I feel like when it gets to the point that it is beyond miscommunication, where it's something that I just cannot believe that anyone would ever behave this way, even in a rom-com. When I'm just like, I want to grab each character by the shoulders and like not just shake them, but like maybe like throw them down a well or something. That is when you have problems. And so that line is really hard to find. And I think sometimes I imagine, this is a really silly writing exercise, but I imagine writing like an "Am I the asshole" post on the point of view of the character, and like whether I as a reader would be like not only like let's cross-post this to "Am I the devil?" Like, I don't know. What do you think? Feel that.
Yeah, I feel that. I would just like to say that I am really happy to be here, and I'm also here mostly just a fangirl over these two. So I don't even know what the question was, but I'm really happy to be here.
Wow. A nice, strong
not answer the difficult question. Shame on her. Are you ready?
Okay, I'll I think, first of all, I love that. I'm going to steal the Am I an Asshole?
I did devil.
Yeah, is this on? I think it turned on.
Yeah. It's the line is on.
Can you still hear me?
Yes. Wow, you guys are really attentive.
Thank you. I think that it also is the line of, as in romance, we know you have to like a character to be able to root for their love story typically. And so when it transitions into unlikable, however, I think we all know as romance writers and as readers, there are lots of ways that characters can be unlikable, and I learn new ones every day from readers. But when it starts to move into that category of, this becomes really unlikable, I think that's where it probably crosses the line.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of the reasons I stopped reading reviews is that I would read stuff like, I cannot believe these characters did this, or like, what is it like when you have that internal monologue in your life, like this character, and I'm more like, what do you mean? But okay, so for me, you can have a character make the most bonkers choice ever as long as it's supported by the characterization of the character. And like if if a character is like wounded, if their pain, their trauma is, I don't know, that they were raised in a situation where just communication didn't happen and where they were never asked to put their feelings in words. I think, for example, it's okay if a character just is unable to communicate. And a lot of people hate miscommunications. I obviously don't. But like, I guess what I'm saying is I think it's a matter of just like giving it a reason. And I'm sure that there is some kind of trauma that we could give a character that justifies them literally wearing a banana costume and walking outside and then like
An apple killed their father.
See, this is a great literary mind.
Neely, you have your character Sloane go on a luxury trip with a man she only knows in passing. How did you write Sloane's choice without yelling, "This is a terrible idea, you're going to die"?
I don't think we have time for all of the stories of me making terrible decisions that I could have died on. I think that's normal in your 20s. And she does make sure her best friend knows where she is, and they have a code word if things go bad, and there's a little bit of planning involved. But I think that's the fun, right? And that's the thrill of escapist reads, and this is a true beach read where you get to go live the thrill of something that you may not do in your real life. And that to me is the appeal of books like this, is that you get to kind of explore and experience something that you normally wouldn't do, and make a few bad decisions along the way.
If you haven't read it yet, she literally goes to Turks and Caicos with a guy across the hall from her apartment.
I don't see a problem.
No problems? I listen to far too many true crime podcasts. And then she died. And then she was hidden in the beach, and it was terrible. And then she went. Allie. Scarlett's journey in Deep End begins with a block. She's unable to perform a dive that injured her. How is her, quote, questionable choice to start a relationship with Lucas important to her journey in overcoming that block?
I read that book so long ago. Well, I think, so Scarlett's journey, in my mind, was going from I can never do anything wrong to it's okay if I'm not perfect. For me, that's what I wanted to take her from the beginning to the end. I think the relationship that she has with Lucas is just so intrinsically messy because he used to be with one of her teammates, right? With the captain of her team. He is someone who is just she doesn't see him as emotionally available. She herself is not very emotionally available. She should be working on other things, and just, I don't know, there's something in her just exploring something that is outside of the things she's incredibly good at. And being sometimes good at it, sometimes not. I think that is that's a critical part that, it's fine. If, you know, some things she does well and some things she doesn't do well. So yeah, maybe that.
Weekend that she likes to steal things from people. So have you stolen anything that you put in a romance that
Jokes.
was questionable?
Jokes.
You're thinking, well, since you called me out for the questionable decision of going on a trip, I passed out drunk in a Mexican bar and when I was in college.
Oh no.
And woke up after it closed.
Did they wake you up or did you?
Yes.
They were like, excuse me.
And put me in a cab.
Ma'am?
It could have ended very differently. I don't know if that answered the question.
I love that. Like we're closer.
Famously, I am an heir to the British crown. I feel like I try not to live too much like from real life, but I do have a friend who, and if she knew I was describing her this way, it would make her very happy. But I have a friend who's like a very like majestic slut. And when I started writing and she's also like spent a lot of time in Europe. And so when I started writing The Pairing, I literally like took her out for dinner. I was like, I'm gonna do basically an interview with you right now. And I need you to describe to me some things. Like I need you to describe to me just give me some scenarios so I can kind of like use them as jumping off point. And she's like, well, this one time I was outside a church and I like hooked up with this guy in the bushes and it was in Italy and I got on like this other guy's moped and like, okay. I think that's too much. I don't think I can use that. So that's my answer.
I'm gonna try to use majestic slut as many times as possible in my life.
I can't make stickers.
We have hot girls read and like daddy hats, but we don't have majestic slut.
You just described both of the hats that Destiny's
Exactly. 1000%
Majestic slut needs to be on
We need merch.
t-shirts, stickers, enamel pins, hats, tote bags, whatever we can get. Right, we have a fun question now. What is your favorite questionable choice a character has made, whether that be your own characters or you do multiple and you can ramble?
Okay, we need some time to gather our thoughts.
Any questionable choice? There's so many.
Yeah. I'm in the middle.
Go for it. And Neely's in the middle, so she'll not go first.
No, sorry,
It was
I was
buying time.
thinking. Yes, it was like. Okay, these are. They're just. I don't know. They are my favorite ever, but they are books that I read recently, and they are not out yet. I'm so sorry. We mostly read arcs. Just that's kind of how it works. But one is, and I've been bragging about having read an early copy of this book for like the last 2 weeks. So I'm so sorry for being so obnoxious about this, but like. Girl Dinner by Yuri Blake, that's not a romance, but like the character literally joins a cannibal sorority. And then, well, I guess.
Sorry, did you say cannibal?
Yes. Okay, but like once she finds out, like, you know how questionable can you be when like they hand you a glass full of blood? And this is not a paranormal romance. Like this is just firmly set in this world. They hand you a glass full of blood and you drink it and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna stick around. I think this is a and you know what? It's a great place for her to be. Like I'm just glad she's stuck around. And then another book that I literally finished 2 days ago. It was good. It's called William Prey by Alering, and this is the main character decides in exchange of $30,000 to allow a man to hunt her for sport. That was really quite good. $30,000.
That's like
not enough.
Okay, that
That's only $1,000 a day. I'm not saying it's a retail fix. It's just, she should have negotiated way more. But then as the book goes on, you realize that's why, because he was like always in love with her. But it will make sense.
I don't know how to follow that. My answer is not nearly as realistic.
That's because you didn't have the arc.
Fair. I would have stopped reading it. The blood was set in front of her.
It's such a good book. You would have loved it. I
don't trust Sally's taste anymore. So, also an arc, but it's coming out in 2 months. Nisha J. Tooley just wrote a rom-com, so she writes romantasy. We were just talking about it, and this is her first rom-com. It's called Not Safe for Work, and it is fantastic. And the questionable it's not like the craziest questionable choice ever, but there's lots of sneaky sex because they're on a work trip together.
Also, like Nisha J. Tooley, Bitch Stole My Soap. Like that is the beginning of her romantasy. Like that.
Great first line.
Oh, someone stole my soap, so I'm gonna like confront them and kill them. It's also a questionable choice. Yeah, but also
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna switch it up and name a book that is available to read now.
Sick burn.
So Tessa Dare's book, A Week to Be Wicked.
Oh my God,
yes. First of all, I love the whole Spindle Cove series, and I recommend them to like everyone I know. But so like A Week to Be Wicked is about, you guys are all like adding this to your TBR. I can visibly see you with my eyes. And I love you all for it. But anyway, so this is about like, okay, it's historical. She's a geologist, but no one can know. Because she's a woman, and it's historical science. So she's been like pretending to be a man in her letters to the Geological Society, and they've invited, and she's discovered dinosaurs. She's fully like found a fossil, and like she's like, I'm ready to tell you guys that dinosaurs happened. But so she needs to get to this geological conference she's been invited to, but she can't travel unchaperoned, and so she basically like blackmails the local rake into being her fake husbands to go on this, like, it's like a Regency road trip. And he's of course a traumatized orphan, and like his parents died in like a tragic accident when he was, you're literally licking your tongue. But it's so good. He's like so into her spectacles. She's like hitting him with geodes. It's like it's
is that code for something?
No. It's literally like a bag of rocks. But not in like a bad way, and not even in a horny way. It's just but like it's just like that whole book is like, it's kind of a road trip comedy of errors, and it's like questionable decision after questionable decision, and like this guy is like, he is a Regency fuckboy, and like, but it is, and she's smart and she knows better, but it's like, but he's there, and like there's only one bed in this inn. Oh my God, my chemise is so thick. So I would say that.
That was the best.
Hi, I'm a very tired human. My throat hurts, my feet hurt, my legs hurt, my back hurts, this hurts. Like, why? But I wanted to give you a wrap up of today. First thing I did when I got there was wander around, get snacks. And I got some matcha and some kettle corn, which I ate half the bag promptly. And then I just was wandering around, and then I ran into my friend Lindsay, who you would have seen. We went to a signing at the Steamy Lit Tent, which is a romance bookstore here in town. And I got my book signed, Gentleman's Gentleman by TJ Alexander. They were very nice. their hand was tired, so they messed up my name, and then they felt really bad. They were like, wait, let me just fix this. This is an E and this is an L. And I was like, it's fine. I don't care, man. I'm still really, really excited to read this. Then I putzed around, got quesadilla tacos with Lindsay, and did some other stuff. I literally, the morning was a mystery to me. I got my stickers, and then I went to my first volunteer panel, and it was a horror panel. And it was, as you would have seen, Chronister, Alisa Alering is how you say it, and Grecian, what's his name? Oh, shoot. Something Grecian. Anyway, he wrote Red Rabbit, which I've heard of. It's this. If I would have had more of a budget, I would have bought it, but I didn't. So also they didn't have the version that I want. I want this cover, not the one that was at the festival. So it's fine. I'll just watch out for it. Like maybe I can get it used or something. And then I got Alisa, who's a local author. I didn't know she lived in Tucson, to sign. I have this library book out. I've had it for months, and I haven't read the book yet. I got a bookmark also, but I got her to sign the library copy, and it says I heart libraries, and she used to be a librarian, so it's perfect. And so I'm going to return this. I actually ended up checking out the audiobook for this from the library, and I know that's the only way I'm ever going to get to it. So this is going back because they're charging me for it, because it's technically a lost copy right now because I've had it so long. So hopefully they don't get mad that the author signed the book. And then while I was there, I happened to get to talking to Chronister about, you know, because she happened to mention, because we were talking about like our festival experiences, that she used to live in Tucson for 6 years. And I said, oh, were you at U of A? And she said, yeah, I got my PhD here. And I was like, what a coinky dink. I got my master's degree here. In what? English literature. Oh, me too. So then we started gossiping about our professors, and she was there in 2016 to well, I don't remember when she said that. I think was 2016 the last year she was there? I can't remember. But either way, we missed each other. I was there from 2008 to 2011, and she was there sometime around 2016. But we still knew some of the same professors. We had the same Shakespeare professor, and we love him. Frederick Kiefer, he's adorable. He's an adorable human. He's so old now. He must be like 90 years old, but he's still teaching. He's still on the faculty. I Googled it. And anyway, we were chatting. So then I was like, well, shit, I really like her. So, and then when she was talking about her book in the panel, I was like, okay, well, I was going to library The Bog Wife, but now I have to buy it. So I bought the book. Anyway, so yeah, I did that, and then got her to sign it. And then putzed around. Actually, I met up with Diane from Cannonball Reed. She was here with her friends from Boston. And we met up yesterday too for the Kingfisher panel. Here's a picture. And then we also, she was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I don't know. And she likes going to museums and stuff. So we went to, like, I was on this campus for 8 years. I've been there every year for the Tucson Festival of Books. I've never once been down in the NPR basement. So the Arizona Public Media, AZPM, which is the Arizona branch of NPR, is run at the University of Arizona, which I knew. I walked by their office so many times when I was in school. I never once went in there. And she was like, they're offering free tours. Let's go. So I went on a tour, and you would have seen that too, of the NPR studios. And that was cool. There was a little girl. She was cute. Okay, I'll say that. But she kept asking. She obviously wasn't like comprehending what was happening on the tour, because she kept asking if we were going to be on TV. And so finally they let her go in the green room studio that I showed you and be on the camera, because she didn't understand what we were doing, like what the point of the tour was. It was cute. And then once I did that, I chilled for just a little bit to rest my feet in the volunteer section, which I showed you. And, oh, I forgot, card from Alisa Alering. I believe she drew this herself, but it's like an important part of the book. And then I went to my author check-in to pick up Allie Hazelwood and Casey McQuiston and Neely Tubati. Oh my God, what is her name? Neely Tubati Alexander, is that her name? I should have looked this up, but I had it memorized and then I unmemorized it really quickly, apparently. So Neely Tubati Alexander, and I hadn't heard of her new book, but her old book I definitely heard of, Love Buzz. So I don't know, I might check it out. She was really funny. And that was just a really fun panel. It was probably, I mean, T. Kingfisher was a close second, but Ali Hazelwood just cracked me up. So I got some good footage, but I really wish I would have been running my camera during this certain moment where this person in the audience, it was at the Q&A portion, asked if Ali Hazelwood was a fan of dark romance and if she would ever step into the arena and write dark romance herself. And then at which point Ali Hazelwood, she confessed that she loves reading dark romance. And then she said, and I think she was joking, she said, "It is my dream," and should I do the accent? It is my dream. I can't do an Italian accent. she has an Italian accent. It's her dream to retire the Ali Hazelwood name and then just write dark romance under pen names, and nobody will know it's me. There will be tentacles everywhere. I will be living my best life. And Casey McQuiston is not a dark romance fan. They were looking over like, you guys have perverted minds. What's wrong with you? It was funny. But anyway, yeah, that was my favorite panel. So, and then I didn't end up getting a signature for Ali Hazelwood. I mean, I met her several years back, so I have a book signed by her, so it's not a big deal, but the lines were just, it was too much. And they were a little late coming out, and the timing didn't work out so that I could use my volunteer access to get a signature from her. I didn't want to be pushy about it, and I didn't want to cut in the line. Here's the line. It's too long. I was so tired. My feet hurt so bad. I was so, like, I just want to go home. So I just went home, but not before I cut the line for Casey McQuiston. There's like a road that there's the tent and the signing, and then there was like 6 people in line, and then there was a road. So they were like making it so that the line wasn't blocking traffic. So the line skipped the road and started back. So I just sort of like sidled on into the line. I definitely skipped, but it wasn't that long of a line, so I don't feel as bad. But I didn't want to do that again for Ali Hazelwood's line because it was so long and those people were already going to have to wait forever. So I did get Red, White, and Royal Blue signed by Casey. So that's exciting. At this point, they weren't even doing personalizations anymore for Ali Hazelwood. She was just signing her name on all the books. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, I don't need her signature. Oh, also, I didn't get on tape, on video, when Casey McQuiston called the 2 characters in this, Henry and Alex, climate criminals for using private jets to zoom back and forth to date each other. So that was pretty funny. And that was the 2025 Tucson Festival of Books. I am, as always, tired, hungry, achy, but not cranky, surprisingly. I had a good time. I only bought 2 books, which is a miracle. Normally I come out of this having bought like 10 books. That's not even an exaggeration. I'll link my previous video down below. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed your little trip, mini virtual trip to the Tucson Festival of Books through my eyes. Obviously, there's panels I didn't care about and that I didn't go to, so maybe look, hey, boo-boo. Maybe look and see if there's a festival in your area and you can volunteer for it and then meet cool people also. If you've made it to the end of this video, please leave me a jet for the climate criminals. And I will see you guys in the next one. Oh, also, if you liked the video, please don't forget to give me a like and subscribe if you want to. I'm this close. I'm 13 people away now from 1,000 subscribers. We can do it. We can get me monetized so I can make a small pittance of money. I hope you're having a lovely evening. I'm going to go remove all of these sweaty, dirty, smelly clothes, do a little bit of stretching, and then rot on my couch for the rest of the night. I wish you the same. Okay, love you, bye.